Yu-Gi-Oh! Needed Battle City because Duelist Kingdom could not be the long-term version of the show. Duelist Kingdom is still fun, and a lot of the most memorable Yu-Gi-Oh! Moments come from it. But if you look at the duels as actual duels, the rules are all over the place. The characters often win because they find a strange interaction the audience could not have predicted. Yugi attacks the moon against Mako. Yugi uses Catapult Turtle against Panic in a way that feels more like solving a puzzle than playing a card game. The show keeps asking the viewer to accept that almost anything can happen if the explanation sounds cool enough. That was useful at first. The anime had to make duel monsters feel exciting before most viewers cared about the exact rules. But it also created a problem. If the audience does not understand what is allowed, the duels can start to feel random. A comeback does not hit as hard when the viewer has no clear idea what the character can or cannot do. The drama becomes easier to question because the show can always invent a new interaction at the last second. That is why Yu-Gi V's Rare Hunter Part 1, Battle City Begins, is such an important episode. It does not just begin a new tournament, it corrects the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Works on screen. The episode starts the first real Battle City duel with Yugi facing a Rare Hunter to win back Joey's Red Eyes Black Dragon. That part is simple and direct. Joey lost his card. Yugi wants to get it back. The opponent uses Exodia, the same monster Yugi used to defeat Kaiba in the first episode. So the story has an emotional reason for the duel, but the episode's bigger purpose is mechanical. This is where the anime starts showing duel monsters with clearer rules. The biggest fix is the introduction of tribute summoning as a serious rule. In Duelist Kingdom, high-level monsters could often be summoned too easily. Kaiba could bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon without the kind of cost that later became normal. Other duelists could put strong monsters on the field quickly, and the show did not always explain why one monster was harder to summon than another. That made attack points too important. If a character had a stronger monster in hand, the main question was usually when they would play it. Battle City changes that. Strong monsters now require sacrifices. A monster with a higher level cannot just be placed on the field for free. The player has to give up monsters already on the field to summon it. That one rule makes the game much better for the anime. Now, a powerful monster has a cost. If Kaiba wants to summon Blue Eyes, he has to plan for it. If Yugi wants to bring out Dark Magician, he cannot just drop it whenever he wants. The field matters more because weak monsters are no longer just weak monsters. They can become material for a stronger summon later. That gives the duels a clearer structure. A player has to build towards something instead of simply waiting to draw their best card. This also makes weaker monsters more useful on screen. In Duelist Kingdom, a low attack monster often felt like filler unless it had a strange special use. In Battle City, even a smaller monster can help set up a tribute summon, protect life points, or force the opponent to waste an attack. That makes the middle turns of a duel more important. The show can now create tension before the biggest monster appears. The Rare Hunter duel shows why this matters. The Rare Hunter is not trying to win by attacking with one huge monster. He is trying to stall long enough to assemble Exodia. His plan is clear. He needs to survive, draw cards, and protect himself until he has all 5 pieces. Yugi has to figure out what the deck is doing before the final piece appears. The viewer can follow that. The threat is understandable. Every turn matters because each draw brings the Rare Hunter closer to winning. That is a much cleaner kind of tension than many Duelist Kingdom duels had. The duel also fixes the use of Exodia. In Episode 1, Exodia was a huge moment, but it created a problem for the series. If Exodia wins instantly, why would anything else matter? Battle City answers that by bringing Exodia back as an opponent's strategy. The Rare Hunter uses fake copies and a deck built around drawing the pieces. Yugi has to beat the strategy instead of simply repeating it. That is important because it turns Exodia from a miracle card into a rule-based win condition. The viewer now understands that Exodia is powerful, but it also depends on drawing 5 specific cards and surviving long enough to hold them. It is still dangerous, but it is not just magic. It has a weakness. A duelist can build around it, and another duelist can counter it. That is exactly what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needed more of. The episode also helps because Battle City uses 4,000 life points. Duelist Kingdom used 2,000 life points, which made duels faster, but also made them less stable. A single big attack could decide too much. With 4,000 life points, the duels have more room. A character can take damage and still recover. The show can have a bad turn without ending the duel immediately. That gives writers more space for strategy. This matters in a show like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the duel needs time to develop. The characters need to reveal their plan. The opponent needs to create pressure. The comeback needs setup. If the life points are too low, the duel can feel rushed. Battle City's higher life point total makes the duels feel closer to the version of the game people actually understand. The duel disc also fixes a practical problem. In Duelist Kingdom, duels usually needed specific arenas or large tables. Battle City lets people duel anywhere. A character can stand in the street, activate the duel disc, and start the match. This changes the pace of the show. The writers no longer have to send everyone to a special arena every time a duel needs to happen. The tournament can move through the city naturally. It also makes the rules easier to see. The duel disc has zones. Monsters are placed in clear positions. Cards are played from the hand and shown on the field. Even if the anime still bends card effects when it wants to, the basic visual setup is easier to understand. The viewer can see that this is now closer to a real card game. Battle City also adds a simple tournament structure. Duelists need locator cards to qualify for the finals. When a player wins, they take a locator card from the loser. That gives every duel a clear result beyond life points. You know what the winner gains. You know what the loser loses. The tournament does not need constant explanation because the goal is easy to track. The rare card rule does the same thing. Duelists put a rare card at stake before the match. That makes losses matter immediately. Joey losing Red Eyes to the Rare Hunter is the best early example. Red Eyes is not treated like a random card. Joey earned it from Rex Raptor, and it became his most recognizable monster. When the Rare Hunter takes it, the loss feels personal, but the rule itself is simple. You lose the duel, you lose the card. That is concrete storytelling. The audience understands the consequence right away. This is one of the biggest reasons Battle City improves Yu-Gi-Oh! The stakes are built into the game instead of being added from outside. Duelist Kingdom often needed Pegasus, Trapped Souls, or some special condition to make the duel serious. Battle City only needs the tournament rules. If you lose, your progress is hurt, and one of your best cards may be gone. That is enough. The Rare Hunter episode also makes cheating more specific. In Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus cheats because of the Millennium Eye. That works for Pegasus as a villain, but it is not really a card game problem. He can read minds. The Rare Hunter cheats through counterfeit cards and a deck designed around an unfair Exodia strategy. That is closer to the actual game. He is not dangerous because he has a magic eye. He is dangerous because he abuses the card system. That makes Yugi's win more satisfying. He has to defeat a deck, not just survive a villain's powers. He has to recognize the plan, understand the weakness, and respond. That is the kind of dueling the show needed if it wanted the audience to care about strategy. The episode does not turn Yu-Gi-Oh! Into a perfectly accurate card game simulator. The anime still changes card effects. It still makes dramatic choices over strict accuracy. But Battle City brings the show much closer to something viewers can follow. That is the point. The rules do not need to be perfect. They need to be consistent enough that the audience understands why a move works. That consistency is what Duelist Kingdom was missing. In the early episodes, the viewer often had to wait for Yugi to explain the rule after he used it. In Battle City, the viewer can often understand the danger before the move happens. If a player is low on life points, that is clear. If a player needs a tribute, that is clear. If the Rare Hunter is drawing toward Exodia, that is clear. The viewer can watch the duel and think ahead. That changes the way the audience participates. When the rules are unclear, the audience watches passively. They wait to be told what the answer is. When the rules are clearer, the audience starts playing along. They wonder what card Yugi needs. They understand why one monster has to stay on the field. They know why a direct attack matters. They can feel when a player is running out of options because the limits have been shown. That is why this episode fixed Yu-Gi-Oh's future. The later series all depend on the same basic idea. The rules can change, the summoning methods can change, and the technology can change, but the audience has to understand the format. GX has fusion-heavy school duels. 5Ds has synchro summoning and riding duels. Zexal has XY summoning. Arc V adds multiple summoning styles. Every version works only if the viewer understands the rules well enough to follow the match. Battle City is where Duel Monsters first becomes that kind of show. Before this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was carried mainly by character drama and big card moments. After this, the duels themselves become easier to build episodes around. A duel can now have a setup, a strategy, a counter strategy, and a result that feels earned. The writers can still use friendship, destiny, and ancient magic, but the actual game has more order. That is why Yugi Via's Rare Hunter Part 1 is a better answer than simply saying the first episode fixed Yu-Gi-Oh! The Heart of the Cards made the show famous. It gave Yu-Gi-Oh! Its most iconic comeback, but it did not fix the rules. If anything, it showed how dramatic the game could be before the rules were fully settled. Battle City Begins fixes the rules because it shows what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needed to become. It gives the tournament a clear structure. It gives strong monsters a cost. It gives the field more importance. It gives rare cards real consequences. It gives the duel a visual format that can happen anywhere. Most importantly, it gives the viewer enough information to follow the match instead of just accepting the result. That is the version of Yu-Gi-Oh! That could keep growing. The episode is not perfect. It is still Yu-Gi-Oh! So characters explain things loudly, card effects can still be convenient, and the drama is bigger than a normal card game would ever be. But the important change is that the game now has a clearer base. The show can still be dramatic without feeling as random as it did before. That is why Battle City is remembered as the point where duel monsters become stronger. The cards are still emotional. The monsters are still cool. Yugi still wins because he is smart, loyal, and calm under pressure. But now the win happens inside a better rule set. That is the fix. Yu-Gi-Oh! Became as big as it did because kids could understand the game well enough to want to play it. Duelist Kingdom made the cards look exciting. Battle City made the duels easier to understand. Yugi vs Rare Hunter, Part 1. Battle City Begins is the episode where that change becomes clear. It is the moment Yu-Gi-Oh! Stops feeling like a show that invents the game every week and starts feeling like a show about people actually playing one.